Hi, I'm Patrick Hanley with LHR Sporting Arms, and thank you for purchasing your first new Redemption rifle. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about what's in the box with your Redemption rifle, tell you how to put it together, and then we'll go through some of the features of the rifle as well. First and foremost though, you have an owner's manual in your box. You want to read this thoroughly before you do anything else with your rifle. Your owner's manual includes a lot of important safety information, and it also has a lot of data that we will not cover in today's segment. So please make sure you read that before you go any further. Now, you have your rifle comes in two parts. You have a stock and a receiver, and then you have your barrel and your fore-end. Now, what we're going to do is just squeeze the fore-end and take your swivel stud out and pull your fore-end to the side. Now, to connect this to the action, you just want to slide your ramrod forward to expose this hinge pin area so that you can lock your rifle up. Very important, when you put your fore-end back on, you do want to always make sure that you squeeze the top of the fore-end. There's a spring inside of here. And what that spring does is when you squeeze down on this, you're creating a tension to the receiver, which keeps your action tight. So it is very important to make sure that you squeeze this nice and firm. Then you're going to take your swivel stud and just put it in hand tight. When you take this back apart, you're going to want to reverse that process. So you want to make sure you squeeze up top here, or you'll find out that this is very difficult to take out. It is serving a function of keeping that action tight though. So your rifle is together now and ready to go. Now we're going to talk about what else is in the box. You have a cleaning adapter and a multi-tool. This is your cleaning adapter, this is your multi-tool. We're going to talk a little bit more about how these function. This serves three different functions. This is used to make your ramrod into a range rod for cleaning. The other thing that comes with your rifle is another primer adapter. This primer adapter is actually different than the primer adapter that's in the gun. So it is not a replacement. So you do want to go to the adapt segment of this video and look into your owner's manual to understand what is different about this before using it. And then once again, you have your owner's manual as well, which you do want to read thoroughly before you do anything else with the rifle. So we have everything here together. Now we're going to talk about some of the features of your Redemption rifle. The first feature we're going to talk about today on your new Redemption is the patent pending adapt system. Now, if you've owned a muzzleloader in the past, you know that most muzzleloaders have a breech plug inside. Breech plugs have issues in the sense that when you try to take them out and clean them, you have to clean out the threaded area inside the barrel as well. And what you can run into is it's very difficult to clean up inside of those threads. So at the end of the next season, you find out that you have seized up breech plug inside of your barrel. The way this adapt system works is very simple. You have a primer adapter. This primer adapter has no threads on it. It has an O-ring seal. This serves the purpose of what would be your breech plug. This slides inside of the barrel. The O-ring creates a seal. It keeps this threaded area clean so you don't have those notorious issues you normally get with your muzzleloaders. Now when you put this retainer collar back on, you're actually tightening that seal down, making sure that it stays tight and keep those threads clean. So when you're done at the end of the day shooting at the range, how do you clean it? You simply take this retainer collar off, take your ramrod, insert it down your barrel, tap that primer adapter out, and then what you'll do is you'll just wipe down the outer body of that primer adapter, re-grease it, reinsert it, and put your retainer collar back on, making sure that you do make sure that those threads are also lubricated on the outside of the barrel. Very, very simple system to use. Now you have a second primer adapter that comes with your rifle as well. The second primer adapter is different from the one that is inside of your gun. The one that is inside of your gun is a universal. This is designed to work with any black powder or black powder substitute on the market today. Very simply, anything you want to use for black powder or black powder substitute will work with what comes inside of your gun. If you like to use loose powder applications, especially some of the new loose powder, black powder substitutes that require hotter ignition, the loose powder primer adapter, which has the very deep cup on the inside, is designed for that purpose. That comes in addition with your rifle. So if you're shooting some of the more modern powders, like Blackhorn 209, that require a little bit hotter ignition, that is the primer adapter to use. So now we're going to talk about the next feature of your rifle, which is the coating that's both internal and external on the Redemption. The next feature we're going to discuss on the Redemption rifle is the Armornite coating. Now Armornite is unique in black powder coatings because it doesn't only just protect the outside of your barrel, it protects the outside of your barrel and the inside of your barrel. Armornite is also on the retainer collar and the primer adapter. Now a lot of people aren't familiar with what the Armornite coating is. Armornite coating is a salt nitride bathing that actually infuses into the metal. So it actually protects from a layer underneath of the carbon steel. so it makes sure that no corrosion or rust is able to surface to the top of the metal. Now, what you want to do to clean with Arbornite is no different than how you're going to clean with a standard type of barrel. You're going to use a black powder solvent in order to clean the inside. Arbornite will simply make sure that you actually pull all of that black powder residue that's left inside your barrel out thoroughly. So the Arbornite coating is specifically designed to be more protective to your rifle. It is also designed to make loading and cleaning of your rifle easier with its natural lubricating nature. So when you're using your rifle, you do want to make sure that you still treat it as though it is any typical type of muzzleloader barrel. You want to clean between shots in order to make sure that you maintain your accuracy, and at the end of the day you do want to wipe it down. The Arbornite coat is just designed to make sure that any sort of residue that is left over isn't going to cause any rust or long-term issues to your rifle. So now we're going to go and we're going to talk about the Stealth Striker system, which is a unique cocking system to your rifle. Next, we're going to talk about the Stealth Striker. Now, the reason the Stealth Striker is different than what you've typically seen on muzzleloaders in the past is instead of having an external pull-back hammer design that can make a loud click and also can have scopes get in the way, the Stealth Striker is very easily accessible with a sliding cock system that goes underneath the scope and makes no noise. The other nice part to the Stealth Striker system is that you can easily decock it with the simple push of a button on the top here. So when you want to engage your rifle to fire, you very simply push your finger from the back without touching that button until you get to the end of the grooved area and you feel the click. When that red dot is exposed, your rifle is now ready to fire. By pushing this button on the top, you're going to send it back into the safe position. Now, say you push your rifle forward and you fire your rifle. When you go to open it, to reload it, it will also send your rifle back into the safe position once again. So the Stealth Striker is a little different than what you've typically seen on a muzzleloader, but it is also superior to the external hammer designs that are on the market. So now we're going to talk about the multi-tool that was included in your box. Now we're going to talk about the multi-tool that came with your rifle. It has 3 different functions: as an actual tool, as a range rod knob, and then also as a palm saver. So the first, the retainer collar on the back of your rifle, if it becomes over tightened or you're unable to remove it by hand, this tool will simply insert over the outside and give you some additional leverage so that you can remove the retainer collar from the redemption. The second purpose of it as a range rod knob. Now, your ramrod comes with a jag on the end that has 2 threads to it. The thinner of the threads is actually used with the cleaning adapter that came with your rifle, and when inserted on the end will provide an additional 4 inches of length to the ramrod. Now, your ramrod has the end where the jag was originally included, and it has the smaller threads on the opposite side. You want to insert the cleaning adapter on the opposite side where the smaller threads are. And then take your multi-tool, push this over the end, and screw it down into place, and now you have a full functioning range rod. Now there's one other feature to this multi-tool as well that can make it easy to use in the field. So say you take a shot out in the field, you need to reload a second shot. It can be very difficult to push down on a ramrod with just the palm of your hand. So if you carry the multi-tool with you, the holes in the side will also work to help you load a second shot down your barrel. So you have 3 different functions of this tool, one for the field, one for the range, and one when you're cleaning in the afternoon. So your multi-tool is a very handy tool to keep around with you. Now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about mounting a scope on your redemption rifle. Now we're going to talk briefly about installing a scope on your redemption rifle. Your redemption comes pre-installed with a Weaver style base, so all you're going to need is 2 things: a scope with the proper amount of eye relief and a set of Weaver rings to go onto the base. So first we're going to talk about the scope. When you're picking out a scope, as I mentioned, you want to have an adequate amount of eye relief, which is about 4 to 6 inches. This rifle is specifically designed this way for the recoils that are caused from magnum charges. If you don't have 4 to 6 inches of eye relief on the scope that you have, you do want to make sure that it fits you comfortably first, or you want to make sure that you can get a set of offset rings that will make up for the distance between the scope stock and the bell of the scope. Now, for your rings, you want to make sure that you get a set of Weaver rings that are of the proper height. Now, by proper height, I mean when you put your cheek down on the stock, you want to make sure that you can see easily through the rifle without lifting your head too high off of the stock. You also want to make sure that you have plenty of clearance to still operate your top lever after you're done installing the rings. The easiest way to do all this is to go in and see your gun shop certified gunsmith who can assist you with not only picking out the proper scope for your gun, but also making sure that it fits properly with your rifle before you decide to purchase it. So that's a basic rundown of your new Redemption rifle. If you have any further questions about the Redemption, you can visit us at www.lhrsportingarms.com. And once again, you do want to make sure that you thoroughly read your owner's manual, as there was a lot of information that was not covered in today's video. Now, the Redemption rifle is designed specifically with the hunter in mind, but it is also made to be a rifle that you're going to have not just for a season, you're going to have it for a lifetime. And we look forward to having you as a customer and your future generations to come that you hand your rifle down to. So thank you again, and we appreciate you watching our video.